Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to The Mess, which is my workshop. Pleased to see you. People are still coming in. Let's bring in my earworms for tonight. Oh, hang on. I'm getting audio from YouTube. Just bear with me. Switch that off.
Oh, we couldn't hear it.
There we go. That's better. We've got Ruby in, and we've got Todd
Hello,
in
everyone.
as well. And I'll put them back in the background and show you what I'm going to be doing tonight. Let's do the overhead just so I can show you what I'm doing. I've got a piece of Burr elm on the lathe tonight. It's around about 5 inches deep. It is the deepest part, and it's around about 7¼ 7.5 well, there's not really a diameter because I haven't cut it into a proper circle, but it'll end up at around about 7-inch diameter depending on what I do with it, and that's something that I haven't decided yet. So I'm going to carry on, get on and do some turning. Either Todd or Ruby will read out who's in. I'll just bring up my YouTube chat because it's better than the StreamYard one. And I'm going to be starting off turning around about 650 on this. I've got it held between centres, just for a change. And I'm going to put a tenon on this one. I don't usually do tenons, but I'm going to put a tenon on this one. Just because I can.
Well, since you don't usually do it, you should, just so you don't forget.
Well, that's true, Ruby. That's true. So I'm using my overhead, using my Robert Sorby 3/8 bull gouge, which I have a reprofile, so hopefully it'll cut. I haven't tested it yet. Yeah, we're turning around just about 600. Make sure everything's tightened up. And I am going to round this off first.
Okay.
You want me to give this a run through while you round that off? Let's see. Gerard, the French turner's in. We have Ruby in. Huey Liontart's in. Roger Kent's in. Ian Wallace. Alan Gibb. Billy Brown. Welcome to Billy Brown. Old Man River. Dale is in. Jennifer's Craft and Creations. Clings for Abrasives in the house.
That's Rob.
Hi,
yes,
Rob.
Rob. Okay, I lost my spot. Todd at Glen Cove Woodworks in the house. Staying cool on a nice Dallas day.
And Alan Gibb has joined us. And Colin Acres.
Oh, yeah, I see them. Was it Trent?
Trent Creek Wood Turner. Sorry, we don't know
Chris.
your first name.
Trent Creek.
No, that's Chris.
Okay, hi, Chris.
Lucy is in.
Anthony Green has joined us.
Martin Ford is in. Let's see. Brian at Hartwood.
Did you get Ian Lee and Chris Nunn?
Nope, I didn't get Andy the Valley Wood Turner either.
Okay.
This thing it moved on me, and as I was getting to Trent Wood Turner's first entry, and when I scrolled back up, I hit his second one.
And Al Dawson has joined us. Hi, Al.
Ronald Todd. Oh, I see Albert now. Let's see. I think I'm catching up with where you are, Ruby. Wurzel, the Wood Butcher. Alex, right?
Yes.
Real Simple Things.
That's Buzz.
Hey, Buzz. Haley has joined us. Christine and Michael Hesseltine. Bonnie has joined us. Steve Scott.
Peter Carlos.
Right, so that's the outside rounded off. I'll just straighten off the bottom now.
Cornish Maid.
That's Katie. That's Chris's other half.
Real simple thing. And Michael Wilson.
I'm just going
Does
to
that
change
get us to the
gouges.
bottom? Did we get Steve Scott?
If not,
sure somebody-
welcome, Steve.
Yeah.
And Chris Fox. And if we missed anybody, our apologies and welcome to the show. This is for the newcomers, this is a piece of Burr elm that Wayne is turning this evening. And make sure you're sitting down because he's actually putting a tenon on this time.
Jim Spalding, I see in here now. And Mike dances with Aardvarks.
Hey, Mike.
And Mike,
They're still coming in pretty hot and heavy. Wivey's Woodshed.
and did you get Jim Spalding?
I believe I did.
Okay. Don't want to leave anyone out.
I know it. Boz
That'll
says
do.
it's good to see you back, Wayne.
Oh, cheers, Baz. Right, what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to be using my, it's an Axminster chuck that I've got, and I'm going to be using the sea jaws on this. Now, the particular sea jaws I've got don't have an internal dovetail. It's actually a straight one, but it's got a step in it, and I'll show you when I turn the piece round. And that step is to actually hold in the screw chuck plate, and I've got a center drive that's held in the same way. So what I'm going to do is put just a little groove. Now, I don't usually use a parting tool on side grain, but this isn't really side grain because the grain's going everywhere because it's a burr. But I'm going to put just a little groove in just there, and what that actually does, that'll grip on the step that's inside the jaws. And like I say, I'll show you that a bit later on when I get it turned round.
Now, I've heard that called a bird's beak on the jaws.
All right.
And William Kenny says that's a gorgeous piece of wood. I agree.
It is local from around this area. What am I going to do? Right. I was saying to Ruby and Todd before we started that I hadn't decided what I'm going to do. I think I'll do something like a bit of a pedestal type bowl. So I'll have it coming up like that to about halfway and then turn the bowl from that. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay, sounds good.
Looks like Woodworm Paul entered.
Paul?
Mike says He sells sea jaws sitting on the seashore. 5 times faster.
Use the liner. Bill is suggesting that you make it a natural edge, Wayne.
Oh, it'll still be a natural edge.
That's cool. William Kenny has joined.
I am getting a bit of tear out at the moment, but I'm not overly concerned about that because I'm just getting rid of wood at the moment.
Does this adjusted profile feel better to you there, Wayne?
Sorry, Todd?
The profile you changed on your tools, it feeling correct now?
Oh, yeah, it's a lot better.
AGK has joined us, and Andrew.
Mike thinks I would make a fantastic umbrella box, like Cindy Droste makes. I'm not familiar.
Well, you can tell by the sound that's a pretty dry piece of wood.
Oh, it's very dry, quite dusty. It doesn't actually smell that bad. Because some elm absolutely stinks.
Now over here, if you get fresh elm, they sometimes call it thick elm.
Now you might have noticed that I am actually cutting downhill on this, which is something that you don't really do when you're turning side grain. But seeing as how this is a burr, basically the grain is going everywhere anyway. So it doesn't really matter if I'm coming uphill or going downhill with this particular piece.
And David Nichols from Kentucky has joined us. Hi, David.
Two Davids in a row came in, a.k.a. that guy from Wood Turns. Says, good evening, all.
Mick Dews is in. For those who have just come in, this is a piece of Burr elm that Wayne is turning.
And he's decided to do a pedestal bowl with a natural edge.
I've just got a bit of a lump that's come out of this, so I'm going to have to take it down a wee bit more.
Is that where that crack was? I saw there was like a crack at that end.
I think basically, Todd, it's very punky around this area, and I mean, I can just pick bits out with my finger there.
Oh.
I mean, that's how punky it is. So I'm going to have to take this down a fair bit.
I heard an interesting item today that some of the scientists and chemists have come up with a wood hardener that you can spray on wood. and it'll make something like a soft pine as hard as a hard maple. And it'll take something like hard maple and make it as hard as steel. Apparently, it's food safe.
All right.
A lot more people would be going to using carbides if they used that kind of wood, though, because I imagine it would really tear up your tools.
Just got a bit of a ridge there I need to get rid of.
Well, as soon as I hear where to get it, I'll let you know about it, Mike.
All right. Just going to concentrate on the top side of this now.
Chusky Wood Creation says he's turned several pedestal bowls and he finds they're good sellers at craft shows. That's a good point, Rob. You would have to use a different sandpaper if the wood's that hard. And Michael's asking what speed you're turning that, Wayne.
Just over 600. Oh no, just over 800. I think that'll about do for that.
That's going to be dead gorgeous.
Right then. Here we go.
Yeah, that view right now, I'm trying to imagine some finish on that and how all that burl's going to pop. It's crazy.
If you have a little bit of water you could spray on, Wayne, we'd be able to see.
I don't think I have, to tell you the truth. I know it hasn't been sanded yet. It doesn't really matter. But
Tonic Glen Cove says a little lemon oil on it. It'll pop.
There you go, Todd.
Oh, gorgeous.
Wow.
Just what Todd said. A little bit of lemon oil.
And Door 60 has joined us. Good evening. And so is Susie, the Swiss wood turner.
Hi, Susie.
For those who just joined, this is a piece of Burr elm.
Right, for your abrasive delectations tonight, I am using Cling Sport abrasives.
Oddly enough, that's what I used this morning on the big turning I did.
Oh, it helps if you plug it in or even turn it on.
Susie, Swiss Wood Turner, has joined.
Now, as you can see, I tend to keep my sanding pads square rather than cut them into a round. Two reasons for that. One, I'm lazy. And two, you can actually get into tight areas.
That was sort of a neat visual there. As you sanded around, we could see where that lemon oil was flashing off of it.
Yeah.
You could see the progress go around. Pretty neat.
Just one bit there that needs a little bit more sanding. I can actually see the line that I'm trying to get rid of. that was 80.
I would say so. And Wayne Bigfoot has joined us. Good evening, Wayne.
Evening, Wayne. Right, I think I'm just going to use the lemon oil again tonight.
I was about to make a comment on the
Go
little
on.
on the little bevel you have on the bottom of the foot there, right? And you'll
Yep.
keep that bevel when you take that tenon off, right?
Yes, I will.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was gonna make that comment, but I didn't want to be accused of having a foot fetish again. So I'm not gonna comment on it.
Yeah, that little undercut just helps lift the piece up a little bit.
Yeah, it'll make a great little shadow line that draws attention to part of the bowl you wouldn't see normally, I think. That's cool stuff.
Yeah, the
Now,
grain on that
gonna
is
be,
just popping.
it's going to be quite dull, this is, because
It
it is various parts of this. The oil is just soaking straight in. But then again, lemon oil is not supposed to be shiny anyway.
Would you come back with a wax later on?
Probably not. I mean, it's not getting sold. It's not getting shown. It's just it'll probably end up on the fire at some point.
No, you could send it to me or hang on to it until I see you again.
I'll probably hang on to it then.
Yeah, it'd be a shame for this not to be on a table somewhere. That wood's too pretty. Todd at Glen Cove says lemon oil followed by 10 coats of poly will make it super shiny.
You know, I've never even thought about putting lacquer on there.
Well, poly's not quite lacquer.
Yeah, but I don't have poly. I have lacquer. That's actually getting a little bit of shine on there, which is not bad.
I find people tend to want to buy shiny pieces rather than matte pieces.
Yeah, but like I say, I've stopped selling stuff, so. Right, I'll change camera. Right, so that's the drive center that's in there. So if I open the chuck up, you can actually see that the plate for the drive center is basically circular and flat. And what you've got on the jaws in here is a little step. So the inside of this is parallel. It's not dovetailed, but it's got a little step on. And then when you put in your piece and tighten it up, that little groove that I've put in there,
Will grip a little better.
that step actually grips in the groove. And sometimes, once the piece is finished,
Won't even be able to tell it, will you?
and you open the jaws up, it still doesn't come out.
Oh.
Martin says he tends to use Howard's feed and wax on burrs as it buffs up beautifully.
Right, this is not going to work. Remember I said the bottom of this was punky?
Yep.
Yeah, well, that tenon is just breaking with me tightening it up.
Can you stabilize it with some CA or something?
Nah.
Would that do it?
It's probably too far gone, to tell you the truth. Let me just have a look.
If you put it back between centers, you could maybe make a slight mortise in the other end and then put a tenon back on.
No, I'll have to think about that one for a while. So we're not going to finish that one tonight.
Okay.
Sorry about that. But what I will do, I'll stick this piece back on.
Well, it had a lovely shape to it.
Yeah, it did.
See, I would have had the same problem, to tell you the truth, if I'd actually put a mortise in there, because
Yeah,
the
it
wood
would've
was that
snapped
pungy. The mortise would have snapped out anyway.
Well, hopefully they'll get that new spray on the market soon that'll harden wood up.
That was a stupid thing to do.
Martin suggested a glue block and hot melt, but I wouldn't trust it, to be honest with you, Martin.
Dancers with Aardvark says it looks like cauliflower. Just finish it with some cheese sauce. You'll be fine.
I did say last week I was going to try a new technique for string pull.
Yes, you did.
I hope my size hasn't gone off, if I can actually find it.
I don't know who's making it, Martin. I just caught a piece on the news.
Well, he's joking there, asking who it's made by.
I don't usually buy or use Viagra, so
Jim Spalding says, Wayne, if you wish, you can bring that piece over to the house and he'll stabilize it for you and probably be willing to store it for you. I know I would.
Lucy, we found that the tenon was very punky. So Wayne's going to finish that up later. And he's going to show us a new technique tonight.
I've been trying to think which way around would be best for doing this, whether I do the Joe Sonia's paint first, or if I do the gold leaf and the Emma's flakes and colours first.
Okay.
I haven't really made my mind up yet, but I will let that get soaked in there.
Jim, how far south in South Texas is South Texas? You in the valley?
Right.
The two Todds
Take
here.
this
We're
elbow
both in
scabber out.
Kentucky.
Mike Todd said it was close to 100 at his place right now in Fahrenheit. So that'd be close to 30 centigrade. I told him he can keep all the heat.
What sort of time are we on?
3105.
Right. What am I doing? Remind me. Oh yeah, that's it.
Well, I
Just
think
going,
you're gonna,
I'm just going to take this off and then get it repainted.
well, we got all the way up to a high of 74 today. Personally, I would take snow over heat. If they wanted to skip summer and have 2 seasons of winter, I'd be quite happy.
%33% humidity at 97 Fahrenheit.
No, thank you. And here he said, and my favorite color is, and he's laughing.
Jim says, Todd, I was in Springfield, Missouri for a grandson's graduation with a BA, and Sunday in Denton for a granddaughter with her master's. So I'm making the assumption that Denton would be the University of North Texas, or it could be Texas Woman's University. And then in Springfield, I went to Southwest Missouri State University in Springfield, Missouri, which is now Missouri State University. I won't tell you one of the main reasons I went there. I will just tell you that at the time, Southwest Missouri State was known as the Teachers College. And so like 65% of the students there were getting their teaching degrees. And 99% of them were women. So
it's all coming out now. There's a reason behind everything, Todd.
Right?
Right, I've just sanded this to 240 because it is basically a practice piece. I'm just going to hit it with some sand and sealer. Get some kitchen roll just to wipe off the excess. And seeing as how I'm not going to be using an abrasive paste on this, I will knock it back with a Webrax pad. This is the purple one, or as Record Power call it red, and this is equivalent grit of about 600, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that feels okay. Let's clean it close.
And Pete from Twisted Trees has joined us. Good morning, Pete.
Hey, Pete.
You're too late, Pete. He's on his second piece already.
Grandpa Jim Woodturner says hello from Michigan in the USA.
Hey, Jim.
Hi, Jim. Now, was that an acrylic paint you put on?
Oh, no, it's a satin lacquer.
Okay.
Turn the speed down. I've got the hot air gun on the first setting.
Tide of Glen Cove says, according to a weather watcher a couple miles away from him, they've had 17 inches of rain this year so far. And I can tell you we've had a lot of rain. But we most likely aren't going to have any until September, like he said. We're probably done.
See, got a feed on Facebook earlier on. Maryland's getting the rain quite bad at the moment.
Yeah, the East Coast is.
That's a little bit more.
We got ours yesterday.
I knew better than to haphazardly use a heat gun, but I was doing what Wayne is doing there, drying off the Hampshire Sheen gloss lacquer, black lacquer. My wife opens the door and yells at me, and I turn my head over the shoulder to reply to her, which moved the heat gun about 3 inches closer to my piece.
Oops.
Boiled it all up.
Yep.
In about a third of a second.
Now, I have got... That's not it. That's not it. I'm saying I have got. I should have said I did have.
That's why I tend to think a hairdryer is better than a heat gun.
Martin says it just adds texture. And, you know, I'll tell you, I probably could have put a clear coat over the top of it and told people it was on purpose and went on with life, but I was not happy.
I have actually got a jig somewhere for using the hot air gun, but I can't find it. And basically what it does is that it's got a dowel. It's got a dowel that fits in the tool post. It's got a section cut out for actually putting the hot air gun in, and just a piece of plywood that goes through the trigger part of it. So it actually sits in the tool post, and you can have it directed. You can have it as far back as you like from the piece, so you don't get any damage.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that was developed by Mick Hanbury developed that.
That doesn't sound too hard to recreate.
Oh, no,
That'll-
it's not. It's very easy.
Yeah.
Well, we'll give you until next week to find it.
Where the hell is it? It's usually just on this shelf down here, but obviously it's not anymore. No, not to worry, not to worry. Right. Which way around am I going to do this? Right, does that look okay? Or should I do... No, that one's not working. Try it again. That one.
That one looks good.
Right. I think this will work better if I do the paint first, to tell you the truth.
So like 3 weeks ago, Wayne showed us a great technique on using these string pulls in a live to make a couple of flowers. And so this is an additional technique here, Wayne?
Yeah, what I'm going to do, I'll use blue and get a couple of different powders from Emma. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the paint first, I think. I think it'll maybe work better if I do the paint first.
Okay. And Zed, the zombie woodturner, has joined us. Hi, Zed.
Hey, Zed.
And right before you said that, Barton asked Wayne, could you use the wet paint instead of the size?
You probably could, to tell you the truth, because the first piece I did using Emma's colours, I just used a black spray-on lacquer and put the flakes and the powders directly onto the wet lacquer. And it worked.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to dry it first.
Right, so I'm just going to put the string into the paint and get that mixed up. Well, I'm going to end up with paint all over my hands again because I forgot to bring the gloves out to the workshop like I usually do.
So what kind of paints are you using? Are they an acrylic, water-based?
Now these are the Joe Sonia's iridescents, so I think they are
Okay.
acrylic. But it's
Yeah.
I'm using the blue iridescent, and I have got paint bloody everywhere. Right. Right, that's the blue paint. I maybe should have used a little bit of flow medium in that, but not to worry.
Either flow medium or a few drops of water will
Now we see
trim it down a bit.
if you use flow Yeah, but the thing is, if you use water, you actually take away some of the color. But if you use flow medium, you still get the density of the color, but it thins it down a little bit. I'll just get this dried off a little bit. Doesn't need to be dried off too much. It'll dry on its own. And then I'm going to go with the gold leaf size, which is a lot thinner than the paint. I've got no idea if this is going to work or not, to tell you the truth.
Now you just dipped that in the gold leaf?
Yeah, dip it into the size. Like that. And I think what you're actually starting to notice there, because this is quite thin, you see how you're getting all these cells coming out?
Yep.
Yeah, that happens when things get watered down too much. It's certainly what I found anyway when I've been doing this type of thing. If the paint, or the first time I've used size doing this, but anyway, if it's too thin, it starts producing these cells, which are quite interesting anyway. You're not really supposed to dry off size. You're supposed to let it go off itself. Whoop, must have a bit of dust in there. But I'm just going to dry this off a little bit.
Noticing how in the center of the flower it's getting quite dark.
Yeah, it looks like all those places where there were spots have expanded with that heat in the one big one.
Right, and where the hell did I put the flakes? Oh, Wayne, man. There they are, trying to hide from us. Right, this one is called Blood Magic. This one's called, and this is a powder.
So we can't see what you're doing with the brush when you load it. You're just
Right.
barely touching
Yeah,
it in there.
I'm not even touching. I'm just flicking to get it on there. And this next one is called Gin. That's DJINN, as in genie. And this is a very, very purpley.
Hmm. I hope when the dust's off, you're going to have a piece of paper underneath to catch any excess.
No, I'm just going to see if my compressor's working, and I'm just going to blow it off.
Oh no. You sure you're Scottish background?
Yeah. But I was advertising Emma's pigments and stuff for a long time, so I do sometimes get a discount.
Poor King Owls has joined us. Welcome. And Martin. Was that your compressor?
Yep.
Good heavens.
Gosh, I'm a little surprised more of it didn't blow off.
Yeah, it does stick to the size quite well.
Yeah.
Right, change camera. Now, this is something that obviously I need to practice with to get right properly, but I think it has worked.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah. Quite interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it that way. I don't know if it worked better if I did the size first and then did the paint over the top. But we will see. And that, I'm afraid, guys, is that. It might have taken a bit longer if that other piece hadn't broken, but such is life.
True.
Rob is suggesting that you mix that stuff with shavings and then you sell it at the local market as unicorn bedding.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Pete says, breathe wrong with those flakes and you are wearing them for weeks. Compressor, half of Scotland will be
Scotland,
covered in flakes.
Yeah, I will see them flickering around
They'll
with the dust for ages.
probably drift over here afterwards.
You'll find them on a piece of clothing that you hadn't worn in a couple of weeks, and you wonder how it got there because you'll forget.
Yes, a rogue sneeze would do it for sure, Lucy.
Wow. Yes.
Especially this being allergy season.
Rob says, "Oh, so that's what causes northern lights."
Yeah, you can't actually see it, but I've got sparkle all over me smock.
Just your sparkling personality coming out, Wayne.
Right, guys. Sorry that was a short one. Like I said, it would have been longer if that piece hadn't broken at the bottom. I will get that sorted and finished off at some point.
I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, Martin, same as Metal Leaf. He's even found that in the bed before. Right, I'm not even going there.
I haven't found any of my metal leaf there. I like Ian's comment. At least you'll have a twinkle in your eye, Wayne.
Artificial as it might be.
Well,
right
it is with the real one he has.
Let's see how many. 60. Had 60 in the night, probably just over at some point. Thanks, guys. Thanks to everybody who came in.
Don't forget to hit the like button, please.
That means I'm going to have to think of something new for next week now.
Did the people in the chat see up at the top where Wayne had a buy me a coffee link? There was a buy me a coffee link.
Oh, I didn't mention that.
Yeah.
Oh, Haley's in. I missed you coming in, Haley. I thought you might have missed us doing that, seeing as how I'd said I was going to do it next week.
Oh, she came in long before that, so she did see it.
All right. Okay, good.
And Jenny said she now knows how to use her Joe Sonias. I'll tell you what, I'll do a couple. I know Emma did a paint-a-thon the other week. I might do next week. I might do a couple of techniques that I use or have used in the past with Joe Sonias, just to give you another idea. Okay.
Cheers,
Heather has come in.
Yeah. Rob said Wayne loves his flavoured coffees. Yeah, as long as it's coffee flavoured.
Maybe do a
right. What I'll do next week, I might do. No, what I might do next week, I might use some cling film and also if I can find them, I might use a balloon as well for doing
Okay.
different techniques using the Joe Sonia's iridescence. I might even use the Joe Sonia's pearlescence as well and see how we go with them.
Oh, that'd be good.
So that's
Yeah, I
what
like
we'll
that.
do next week.
All right. So next week is coloring.
Yep, colouring yet again.
I love the coloring. What can I say?
Forking Owls has said bubble wrap. Yeah, I could do bubble wrap as well. I haven't used bubble wrap for quite a while.
Do you use it before or after you pop it? Because you got to pop
before.
it. Yeah.
No, you've got to use it before.
Yeah.
You can save yourself a little piece to pop.
Yeah.
Yes, Jenny. I took a year out. I hadn't done anything for a year because Wednesdays was always my regular spot, and also Saturdays as well. Saturday night was a regular spot as well. But I took a year out, and I've just started up again. So yes, I am on every Wednesday, 8 p.m. UK time, and I will be starting back up doing a Saturday as well. Saturdays can sometimes get a bit naughty though, so don't let the kids watch. Right, I think that's that. Oh, sorry, Todd, go on.
I was going to say, what time on a Saturday will you be thinking about going?
Oh, the same time, 8
Same
p.m.
time. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
That's 2 p.m. Central, so good time.
Right then. If that's everything, again, thanks to everybody for coming in. Lucy saying my kids love you. Yeah, don't let them watch on a Saturday though.
Oh dear.
Right, I'm off. And if you listen closely, you can hear a bottle of wine shouting my name. So thanks everybody for coming along, and I will catch you all next week.
Thank you,
Bye
Wayne.
for now.
We enjoyed it.
Nope. Thanks, Wayne.
Cheers.